they're very shy because we're just starting. This is like the first thing of the day.
So we need to warm them up.
Yeah, exactly. Wie geht's euch?
Viel besser.
Viel besser. Would you like to sit? No,
bitte.
Great. Great to have you here. Rebecca, first of all, congratulations.
Dankeschön.
It's lovely.
Danke.
Und wollen wir auf Deutsch weiterreden? Because you have German blood running through your veins.
It helped me play Wicked for sure.
Yeah? That's the German.
It was definitely the German part of me that came out.
Is that a compliment or is that something?
Yes. I'm very proud to be part German.
But how often are you in the country? I mean, have you...
I've been to Germany, I would say about... Danke. I've been to Germany probably about 10, 15 times in my entire life, yeah.
For fun, for work? Or just...
For family, mostly.
Okay, so where's your family based?
Near Dresden.
In Dresden?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so you travel to Dresden and then you check out the rest of the country.
Yeah.
What about your German language skills?
Nicht so gut.
Nicht so gut?
Ich habe alles vergessen.
Das stimmt. Man hört das aber überhaupt nicht. You wanna try English and German?
Nein.
Ist doch cool, noch nicht.
Noch nicht.
Noch nicht. What triggered your interest in becoming an actress? Was there like an incident or someone that you admired or someone who told you, listen, Rebecca, you'll be great in this one?
When I was little, my German family asked my parents what was wrong with me because I was so loud and silly, and my German Uncle Heinz told my Uncle Heinz told my father that he thought I belonged in the circus. But I didn't. I think I just always had that personality because my family, especially my English family, are very shy. But I've always been loud and annoying and silly. So I think I was just always. I needed an outlet, and I think acting was that for me. And when I was little, and I used to watch TV or see children in TV commercials, I want to do that. So ever since I was this big, I just felt this need to be on television. It was very strange. I don't know where it came from because my parents are much more shy than I am.
But did they support your dream? Because you know, when you're a kid, you want to be anything from astronaut, actress, finally. You know, everyone.
Yeah, I didn't really talk about it much when I was little. It was more sort of later in life. I didn't become an actress until I was like 23. So it was like after I'd moved out and stuff like that. But my parents have always been incredibly supportive of everything I do. They're very proud of me. They're my biggest fans. So it's been really nice to have that support from them.
So how did you approach that wish or that task of becoming an actress?
Getting into acting is really hard. It's a lot harder in the UK than it is in the US. So I think one of the reasons why I have success is because I moved to America, because I didn't go to college and I couldn't really afford to go to university or go to drama school in London, which is incredibly expensive. So I was like, I'm just going to go to America and see what happens. Because I think sometimes in America, if you've got ambition and drive and you work really hard, it's sort of like the American dream, anything can happen. Whereas I feel like in England, if you haven't been to drama school, you can't even get a meeting with an agent. It's a lot harder to break into business.
It's a lot more conservative in that.
Yeah. So I needed to go to America because I couldn't go to school.
But, you know, going to America, I mean, a lot of people have tried it and have done it and haven't succeeded. What was the first step? Where did you go exactly? What did you think? How would you approach that career?
Well, I was lucky in that I was able to sort of go in the back door because I used to be a model. And in America, if you are a model and you want to do television commercials, you need an acting agent. So if you're a model, you get given an acting agent just to do like a hair commercial, even if you're not an actress. So that was kind of my way in, and then I sat down and I said, well, by the way, I can act. And they're like, okay. And I'm like, no, I really can. So I proved it to them, and so they started sending me out as an actress. But it was literally, modeling was the bridge for me. If I hadn't have been a model, I would never have become an actress.
Did you ever take acting lessons in that regard? So you started to say, basically, you know, now that I have entered that world, I want to, you know, try to professionalize it in that sense?
I mean, not really, because they were very expensive. So I didn't, you know, when I was living by myself, the money I made for modelling was to pay my rent. So I never really had the money to take or go to acting school or anything. I did take one class for like 6 weeks, but that was then I ran out of money.
It's just pure talent.
I mean, you know.
Fantastic. But did you, once you've made it in the States, did you ever transfer your success to Europe in that regard?
I haven't yet. That's next on my to-do list. I really, really want to do something British. I've never worked in the UK. I've never worked in Europe. And that's something I really want to achieve in my career. I'd love to come back to England and do a really cool British TV show.
Do you think it's going to be easier? I mean, do you need an agent now in Europe?
I think I'm going to have to get a British agent, yeah.
Okay. And so this is on your, I mean, first there's another thing that you have to take care of?
What?
Exactly. Breakfast. And then that would be on your bucket list.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. I'd love to do something British. I want to come home and work and, share it with my family, and, I've been gone for such a long time. It would be nice to have that experience and share it with my family.
And it's pretty impressive what you have done, with the set goal that you wanted to achieve that. Let's talk about one of the roles that made you famous before you started with the series in which you play the Wicked Witch of the West. Dr. Charlotte Lewis in Lost is an extremely interesting character, and Lost has been a huge success. Back in the days when social media wasn't as big as it is now, because no one could sort of tweet anything about the ending.
Would you want me to explain the ending really quickly?
Sorry?
You said you didn't understand the ending.
Exactly.
Do you want me to break it down?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would be lovely. I'm lost with the ending of Lost.
Okay. My understanding of the ending of Lost is that whatever happened, happened. There was an episode literally called What Happened, Happened. So my understanding with everyone speaking to everybody is that whatever happened on the island did really happen. That plane that took off, those people did get off. Ben and Benjamin and Hurley did stay. They ran the island. And then everybody that was in the church was Jack's purgatory. Everybody in that church was someone that was important to him as he died and crossed into heaven. So it wasn't all a dream.
So it was part dream and part reality?
I don't think that it was a dream. I think the things where you were seeing everybody in the church, that was Jack's transition. That was his crossover into the afterlife.
Okay.
That's
I have
that's
to basically rewatch the last couple of episodes.
That's how I understand it.
Did you guys understand it the same way? I mean, who's a fan of Lost? Who's seen Lost? A couple of people. Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, I mean, being part of that show changed my life, it changed my career. It was one of the most important television series ever made. I mean, it changed the face of television. It made sci-fi cool. Back in the day, it used to be a separate genre, and all of a sudden, normal people were going, oh, there's a polar bear in the jungle, but I can get behind it. I'm going to tune in every week, because they were able to sort of mesh sci-fi with character development. You were invested in these people, and it changed the face of television, and it changed my life. I mean, I was only supposed to do like 5 episodes or something, and I ended up working on it for like 3 years or whatever, and I was really grateful to be a part of it, for sure.
Do you remember did you go for a casting?
Yeah.
Okay, so how did that, I mean, obviously it went successful, but how did it go? Did you have a good feeling?
I was really nervous. I think when I went in to audition for Lost, there was only 6 people. So I was sitting there looking at the other girls, and I was like, this is mine. And I had to sort of like psych myself into it that it was going to be mine. And then when I went in to do the audition, I went in once, and then they had me come back to meet with Damon and Carlton, the executive producers, and I said to myself, I'm not going to leave this room until I've made them fall in love with me. And not just the character, but like show them my personality. And they said one of the reasons I got the job was because they thought she is a person that we can send to that island and she'll fit in. Because there can be a lot of drama when you add new actors, and it was a pre-existing cast, and they're like, she'll be a part of the family and everyone will be happy. So it wasn't just my acting, it was because I'm a hoot.
So what was it like to actually enter that existing group of stars?
It was wicked. Like, I was nervous because, when you enter a show, and it's the same for me Once Upon a Time when you have a pre-existing show, it's like starting, school halfway through the year. You're like, oh, I hope everybody likes me, and I was a bit nervous. But on my first day on Lost, I hadn't been watching the show, so I watched 3 seasons in 2.5 weeks once I got the part. And back then you couldn't stream it, it was on DVD. So old school, like sticking it in the side of my laptop. And so I watched the Series 3 finale the same day as my first day at work. So I was sitting in my hotel waiting to be picked up, and you know, the island's like wow, wow, moving, and they're like, your car's here, and I'm like, what? And I got in a car and went straight into the jungle, into that show. It was so trippy. And the first character I saw was the dog. So I was sitting there, and the dog came up, and I got like really nervous. I'm like, oh my god! And then they were like, cut! And everyone came through the jungle, like Locke and Sawyer, and they all like came walking towards me as I sat on this chair. And it was really trippy because I had just watched 66 episodes, and then all these characters were walking towards me. And my first day was when Benjamin Linus shot me in the chest. And I was lying on the floor, and Locke had his knees over my waist and was kneeling on top of me, and I looked up at the sky, and all I could see was Locke's bald head, the jungle, and the sky, and I was like, how did I get here?
I'm excited.
Oh my god. I'm like, I could die now. Like, I've literally made it. It was so cool.
I mean, as you could see, I mean, there's so many people who love that show to death.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved it. What about, you know, the behind the scenes camaraderie between all of the actors and actresses? I mean, is that something that you, I mean, are you still in contact with some of them because you spent so much time together on an island?
Yeah, I'm still in touch with Daniel Day Kim and Josh. Like, we all still see each other. I saw a bunch of them at we did a Lost reunion concert in LA recently, which was really cool. But some of my favourite moments, and it's the same with Once Upon a Time, some of the best moments on these shows aren't when the cameras are rolling. It's the moments in between. And on Lost, everybody played instruments, you know, so Terry O'Quinn and Joshua would play the guitar, and we'd be singing. Sometimes accidentally there would be a beer next to you know, in a red cup, so nobody knew what it was. And it would be 3 o'clock in the morning, and we'd be in the jungle singing songs, and it was like camping. It was really magical under the stars. It was really cool.
It sounds exciting.
Yeah.
Rebecca, because you said that you're very determined about getting a job, we were talking about the casting that you went in and said, I'm not going to leave before I get the job.
Yeah.
Is it true that you had a cameo in Fringe because you were so in love with that series that you basically tweeted about it the whole time?
Yeah. I was when Lost finished, it left a hole for so many people in television. And I was talking to my friend, like, what am I going to do? Like, what else can we watch? And a friend of mine recommended Fringe. So I got into Fringe, and I'm like, oh my god, this is really hitting the spot. And then the show was always, as they say in America, on the bubble. It was always about to be cancelled, and I was like, no. This is not happening on my watch. So I would always tweet like, you know, you've got to watch it live, it's going to get cancelled. And then it got pushed to Friday nights, which in America is like the kiss of death for TV. And I'm like, come on, come on, come on. And then I got a package one day saying, thank you for all your support of our show. It really means a lot to us. Do you want to be in it? I'm like, what? They're like, what do we have to do to get you on it? I'm like, I'd do it for free. I'm like, oh my god! I was so excited. They sent me like a t-shirt and a baseball cap, and I posted a picture. And they were like, I was on another show, which I was really annoyed, so I wasn't available. And then that show got cancelled. So I called my agent, like, quick, call Fringe, because they were about to finish. So they quickly were able to like write me into a couple of episodes.
I think 2?
Yeah. So I just managed to get in right before.
So it was by accident. So is that something that you do the whole time now? Tweet about series and movies that you like?
I haven't, but I need to do that again, yeah.
Yeah, that's very smart. Is it weird?
Yes! It's so weird to see yourself on TV.
Rebecca, tell us, how did all that come about? How did you enter the world of Once Upon a Time?
Actually, well, Adam and Eddie, who created the show, were part of the writing team on Lost. So luckily, this was just an offer, and I didn't have to audition. And as an actor, that's like the holy grail, to just be handed something on a plate when you've spent years fighting and struggling and knocking down doors. So that was a really beautiful moment for me, for them to say, hey, do you want to be on our show? I'm like, yes please. So it was really cool.
How enjoyable is it to be in that cast? Because as you've been talking to us about it, Lost was an amazing experience because of the people that surrounded you and where you were. Is that any different Or is that something very important for you as an actress, that you work in an environment where you feel safe, sort of loved, and surrounded by friends?
It's a huge part of it, because most of your day when you're shooting a movie or a TV show is you're not actually filming. Most of the day is waiting. I mean, if I've learned one thing as an actor, it's patience. You know, because there's
do you have patience?
I do now.
Okay.
I didn't used to. I'm like, why aren't we shooting? What's going on? I'm bored. Whereas now, I just relax, hang out with people, have a cup of tea, eat some chocolate. They knock on my door. I'm ready to go. I'm calm. There isn't that sort of feeling of I should be doing something. I've learned to just wait for it to be my turn. So I think it's very important, the energy between the other actors, and when it's good, it changes the whole experience. I mean, it's a huge part of the experience, and with Once Upon a Time, we all formed such an amazing bond, and we're all still really close and really good friends and see each other all the time, and sometimes we would be having so much fun in each other's rooms that when they knocked, so we're ready for you, we're like, oh, we're busy in here. All right, we'll come. So that was really, it was like being it. And I didn't get to go to university. So for me, us all being in different rooms and going to each other's rooms and hanging out, it felt like I was at school, which was nice because I missed out on that experience.
Do you have a certain ritual when you go on set? I mean, is that something that you always do first? Do you walk around the sets, or do you greet the director of photography or your fellow cast members?
Well, you get to do all of that in rehearsal. So typically, I'm rehearsing in my pajamas and half of my face is green, so I get to say, Morgan, and chat with everybody. And then when I come in and I'm fully ready, I'm ready to go.
What is it like to be working with all these special effects? Does that make it, because as an actor or actress, you kind of have to learn to deal with things that you actually can't see.
Yeah.
You have to imagine it.
Yeah.
Does it make it, the whole acting process, sometimes more difficult, more mind-numbing? Is it sometimes just strange to talk to a tennis ball and imagine it's a huge monkey? Or?
Yeah, it's really bizarre. I mean, even in that scene that we just saw, none of that was there except for the other actor. And, all the things that you're doing with your hand, and you're throwing people and fireballs and poofing. When you disappear, we call that poofing out. And you're doing that, but then you just sort of walk away, or you're holding people up by their throat or blasting people. You look like you're doing this. You're like, I look ridiculous. But then when you watch the actual thing, you're like, oh my god, I'm so sexy and powerful. But on the day, you're like, what am I doing? It's interesting because I am able to pretend that it's there, even though the world isn't there. And also what they have is they'll have a special effects team off to the side in a tent. So I go and visit those guys before we start shooting because the world is there. So I can go, oh, I'm in a castle, and that's where the monkey is, and that's where the floor is. Because in the real world, it's just, there's nothing there.
Is it more intuitive acting because you have to imagine it? Or is it more planned out in a sense because you have to meet a certain spot because that's where the monkey might be, or that's where the...
Well, what I do is I'll learn the geography first in rehearsal and then pretend. So I'm not caught up on, I've walked into a wall. So I'll learn the technical parts first and then play.
Okay. Okay, so there's a lot more rehearsal to other shows that you've done.
Yeah, you have to make sure you're not walking through walls or walking into a vortex of magic to take you to Oz.
If you look at Hollywood at the moment, a lot of directors have decided, unless it's a superhero movie of a certain scale, that they're trying to set up the sets for the actors and actresses to have a more, common feeling of being someplace, being warped into that time zone.
Yeah.
Do you think that is a nicer way of acting? I mean, without...
Yeah, I think if there's as much that you can do as possible to make it real, it is helpful. Like, we had these amazing set designers so that if I was in a certain world, they would try and put as many props as possible so that you did have things to touch, like potions, or even just a table and a chair. They would put as much as possible, and that they could get away with, and then the rest would be put in post. So it's a blend of both. If you can have both, that's perfect.
I'm a huge fan of stories that haven't, when someone tells us what hasn't gone the right way. Bloopers and DVDs are always very exciting. It looks like a show where a lot of things could happen, if you don't fit the spot or you don't interact the right way with special effects, is there anything that you could share with us that we haven't heard about or haven't been able to see?
One of the biggest things all the time is that people would just walk through a wall. So we'd be shooting, I'm like, cut! You've gone through a wall! You're like, have I? Oh, shit, okay, sorry. You have to come back.
And so they're imagining something or seeing something that you don't know at the moment.
Yeah, because when the director is watching it,
blocked away.
Yeah, but they have the real world on the screen. So when they're watching what you're doing, the final world has been put on their screens, so they can see you're walking through a wall, but you can't.
How difficult is it sometimes when you get so close to fellow cast members to stay serious in a certain scene? I mean, you seem to be a very, very energetic, very happy person. If you start laughing, sometimes you just can't get out of that situation.
That's one of my favourite feelings. And they call it the church giggles when you've started and you can't stop. Oh, I love it. I love it. When especially if someone's really messing up their lines. It's one of my favourite things. I never mess up my lines. But like Colin always did, Sean did, Ginny would, and I'm like, uh-oh, here we go. And I'm not helpful at all, because I'm trying to be strong for them, but my lips twitching, my nostrils are flapping, I'm like, oh no. And sometimes I've made it so much worse, I have to just face the other way on their coverage. They're like, Rebecca, you're not helping. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. But I can't. Once I've lost it, it's really hard to come back.
But it's fun. Oh, I like it. Church giggles. I didn't know that. Church giggles.
Yeah.
It happens in the most of the time. There's a musical episode of Once Upon a Time. We heard about your singing experiences on the set of Lost. What was it like to be singing on TV?
Oh, it was wicked, man. I loved it.
Yeah.
So much fun. Yeah. It was like a whole day just shoot. I felt like a singer and doing like an MTV music video. It was wicked. I loved it.
No anxiety, nothing. No angst.
No, just kind of angst.
Kind of angst.
Yeah.
The great thing is we have a clip and that we want to show you. Video nummer 3. And if you want to, you are more than welcome to sing along. Here we go. A great scene. In what way was it shot? I mean, were you actually singing the whole time, or was it just moving the lips to the song being played back?
I recorded it first. We all recorded our songs first, and then when we filmed it, they played it. But then you sing along, because if you mouth it, then your neck and your muscles don't move the same. You look ridiculous. So I was singing along to myself, singing the whole time, and then they just pulled out production and added in the recorded version,
I saw a lot of you singing along to that song, and I have an idea. Could you start singing that song again and you guys join in? I think we would have the biggest choir on the face of the earth. Could you do that?
Finally, the moment I was hoping would come, the moment you would realize you chose the wrong one. There isn't any curse I could cast to match this feeling. The pain I knew when Rumpel turned his back on my heart. At last will be Regina's when her life falls apart. Suddenly the future's looking more appealing.
Wow, thank you.
Still remember it.
Rebecca, is that something that you would thrive for and that you would really love to do in the future, next to working in the UK to do musical? On a greater scale, where you could sing and act?
Yeah, you know what I'd love to do? I mean, I love singing. I'd love to do a musical movie. That would be wicked. Because I think doing a musical on the West End or Broadway is brutal,
It's just every day and it's...
Yeah, whereas to do like a film like Moulin Rouge or The Greatest Showman, something like that is like a massive dream of mine.
I mean, you could do now, a couple of years later, that Baz Luhrmann's Moulin Rouge, a remake.
I would love to do something.
Is there a favorite musical that you have? I mean, is there a favorite artist whose songs you love to sing along to?
I mean, I love Wicked, obviously. I love Idina Menzel, Les Miserables, Miss Saigon. I mean, musicals are my jam. I love going to musicals. There's the music in musicals that are the most fun to sing along to, sing in my car, make me cry, hashtag all the feels. I'm all about it.
Good, so you should Twitter me about it.
I need to tweet more.
Yeah.
You're right.
I would like to talk about your role as the Wicked Witch of the West, because the original Wicked Witch is very scary, very dark. Your version is a lot more, I would say, human, approachable in a sense. I mean, she still has wickedness to her, German wickedness, as we found out. But how did you actually prepare that character? Was there a lot of it already written down that you could sort of approach? Was it something that you researched in a different way because you had a certain sense of feeling of how she should be?
Well, I didn't want to copy anybody else's interpretation, so I've seen all of the Wizard of Oz's, all the interpretations and the musical, but I decided to just not watch them again because I was nervous. I didn't want to emulate anybody else, so I didn't research it as much as possible. And what was amazing about the creators of Once Upon a Time was that they gave all of us the freedom to, I mean, obviously they did all of the writing, but then they kind of let you run with it and let you play with it. And so I just decided to just feel her out, and I wanted to differentiate my character from all the other villains. So I just made my character very... They wanted me to be British. They asked me if I would be British. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Regina and my mum are American. And they said, you can do what you want, but if you do it English, we'll get you a British dad, and that'll explain why you have that accent. So I'm like, all right, give an Englishman a job, brilliant. So, but I think being British made me different too, because it has a different type of sort of sarcasm and wit to it that I think really made the character unique.
Is that something that you can draw from? You know, German roots, English roots, having grown up in America, that you sort of approach a character in that sense that you say, okay, she needs to be a little bit more German, and she needs to be a little.
She was definitely, yeah. I did, absolutely. I mean, it's who I am, and then I brought that to the character for sure.
Do you have the feeling that, you know, once you enter a TV series and it becomes that successful, and your character keeps on, you know, appearing in all of the episodes and plays a very important role to the whole storyline of the series, that you can actually, is it more free because you can improvise more, you add more to the role? Do you go up to the producers and basically say, listen, I would like to, this would be a great story sideline or side way that we can approach it?
I mean, they really gave me the freedom to do what I want with the part, and I love them forever for that. They didn't micromanage anything I did with it. You know, sometimes things would sort of on paper look like I was shouting or really angry, and I'm like, nah. I think really calm in a snotty tone with a smile is way more interesting, and they would just let me get on with it. And they even said to me, we don't really know what we're doing, what you're doing, but we love it, so just keep doing what you're doing.
So who do you run those ideas by? Is it in your husband, or is it
nobody?
Nobody. It's just something that comes up, and you have a good feeling about it.
Yeah, it's
you test it in a sense in front of the mirror.
No, I definitely like. Some people do a lot of preparation, but the less I rehearse and the more I just wing it, the better it is for me. I mean, everybody's different, but I'm like, I think I know how I'm going to do this. I wonder what's going to happen, and then it will happen, and I'm like, oh, that felt right.
Is that good for acting? Because I have the feeling that sometimes, because if you're not only the only one in the scene, there are more actresses and actors, you might have to redo a take. So is every take that you do different?
Yes.
Okay.
And you know, Lana's very good at that, the actress who plays my sister, Lana. One thing that I love about working with her is we both mix it up, because you have to do the same lines so many times over and over and over and over again that, you know, we'll give each other something different each time, which is more interesting, because when the actor delivers the same line, the same it's so boring. But with her, with a really good actor, they're really listening to what you're saying. So if I'm really listening to you, and then the next time you do it slightly differently, my response will be different because you said it differently. So then you get all these colours and all these different things, and then it's more fun for the editor because they get to pick and choose different things that you did. So it adds more colour to a scene.
Hello. Hi. What is your favorite memory from the set of OUAT?
Of what?
Of Once Upon a Time.
Oh, OUAT, sorry. God, I don't have one. I've got millions and millions and millions and millions of memories. Trying to think what stands out.
The first day?
The first day was amazing. The last night was amazing. Lots of crying, lots of whiskey. Lots of whiskey. I think I went to bed at 7 a.m. on the last night. We shot until 6 o'clock in the morning. That was a long night, but it was really fun. And we all cried a lot and tried to steal things and run away.
Is that something that you do? Did you keep things from sets? I mean,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly. I'm not going to ask
you?
detail.
Nice to meet you, Bob.
Meer vragen. Ach, zie, daar is het.
Hi. I wanted to ask you if you have an invitation to the wedding of Tira Scobie. Are you invited?
Huh?
Are you invited to the wedding of Tira Scobie?
Oh, no. No, I'm not.
Would you like to be invited?
I've got a baby coming.
See.
The less trips I have to do for the next few months, I think, the better for me. What was it? Was it embarrassing?
Yeah, exactly. What did you laugh about?
Oh no, we didn't care. We didn't care about anything. We were so annoying. No, we were shooting the wedding, and she was forgetting the words, so I was spinning her around whenever I saw the camera on her, because she was like, what are the words? I'm like, don't worry about it, it's the back of your head. And then we went off to the side, and we thought we were off camera, and we started humping each other. And we're like, we're so hilarious. And they're like, cut. And then the person working the other camera was this woman, and she was like, nice moves at the end. I was actually on you for that. We're like, oh no. But we never saw it. We've never seen the footage. Hopefully one day that will get released.
It'll be on YouTube.
Yeah, we were quite pleased with ourselves. Very inappropriate.
The lady in the yellow t-shirt.
So my question was, do you have any weird food cravings now that you're pregnant?
Food cravings during a pregnancy. Like a.
Yeah, no, I've been tweeting about it a lot. I can't help myself, but I'm obsessed with Marmite, that British spread that most people hate.
Oh my goodness.
But I can't stop.
I mean,
out of control.
were you a fan of Marmite before you got pregnant?
Yeah.
Okay, really?
I used to hate it when I was a kid, and then I went on holiday with some mates when I was 18, and we were all drunk, and I'm like, I need some Nutella on toast. And my friend thought I said Marmite on toast. And I'd had a couple of beers, and I took a bite, and I thought it was Nutella, and it was Marmite. And I'm like, ugh! I'm like, oh, what the bloody hell is that? How dare you? And then I'm like, hang on a minute, this is quite satisfying. Oh, true. And now I love it.
Then you hate Nutella?
No, I love Nutella. I mean, my God, who doesn't like Nutella? I can't be friends with someone that doesn't like Nutella. But it's chocolate. What's not to love? But I don't know what it is about Marmite, but once I got pregnant, I can't. I mean, I could eat Marmite for breakfast, lunch, and dinner and be perfectly happy.
Really?
Yeah.
I hate it.
My husband hates it.
Yeah,
He hates the smell.
I hate it too.
I don't even care.
I hate the smell. I think the smell.
I'm pregnant. I can do what I want.
I think the smell.
I even rub it on my belly. Beer, like, enjoy it. Big ones, big glass with a massive handle. I'm like, oh God, I want two. And on a hot day as well. There's nothing better than a cold beer on a hot day. It's really tempting. Thanks, Kuhn.